Hopscotch Summer, written by Annie Murray, read by Penelope Freeman. Hopscotch. Chapter 1. 1931.
That's it, Joycey.
Em was jumping up and down, clapping her hands with excitement.
You can do it.
Her 4-year-old sister Joyce was hopping along the wonky grid chalked on the pavement, the tip of her tongue sticking out, and her eyes fixed on her feet in her eagerness to get it right. A pale blue ribbon bounced up and down in her hair as she hopped, avoiding the third square with the stone in it, and landed in square 2, then square 1, and finally, beaming like a cheeky angel, fell into Em's waiting arms.
I done it, Em. I can do it.
Em laughed in delight at the sight of her little sister's face. It was quite similar to her own, though Joyce's face was pudgier, like a puppy's, and without Em's sprinkling of freckles across the nose. But they both had the same bobbed brown hair and fringe, regularly chopped by their mother Cynthia.
I never said I was born to be a hairdresser,
she'd say, snipping the scissors across.
You done it, Joycey. Told you I'd teach you, didn't I?
It was August, and the sound of playing children could be heard all along the street, their voices and laughter echoing against the tired, sooty bricks of terraced houses. A gaggle of kids squatted over pocketfuls of marbles. There were lads swinging from ropes on the lamp-posts, and 3 of them were prodding the metal rim of a cycle wheel, cajoling it along the road in a sinuous course. And all across the pavements was smudged evidence of the latest craze, chalked hopscotch grids, where boys and girls, but mostly girls, went skip-hopping up and down in the broiling afternoon sun.
My turn again,
Joyce was shouting ecstatically, when a commanding cry cut through all the chatter and the hubbub of the street.
Emma Brown, get here quick, Bab, your mum needs you. Mrs. Wiggins is calling,
Joyce said unnecessarily, because when Mum's best pal Dot Wiggins opened her mouth to shout, the whole street could always hear her. And they could see Dot's dark-haired, rangy figure waving her arms at them from their front door.
Gotta go,
Em called to her friends.
Come on, Joycey.
They dashed along past other women in the street who were settled on their front steps or on broken-back chairs, gossiping and peeling spuds or shelling peas into their aprons, escaping the heat of all the cooking ranges blasting away indoors.
She having it?
One of them yelled down to Dot Wiggins.
Looks like it. Rather her than me.
A ripple of sympathetic laughter ran along the street. Em ran into number 18 Kenilworth Street, still clutching Joyce's hand. It was dark inside after the bright outdoors, but already Em could hear her mother's gasps of pain. Cynthia was leaning over the table.
That's it, Synth. Keep going, you're all right.
Dot encouraged her confidently. Dot had 3 kids of her own and was a widow. She was strong and stringy, a workhorse of a woman because she'd had to be.
Oh, Lord God!
Cynthia Brown cried as the worst of it passed.
Go and get Mrs. Herbert from number 36, Em. Hurry up.
I'll stay with your mum and get things ready, Dot said.
Go on, Bab, do as your mother says. Are you having the baby?
Em asked, excited but scared as well.
Yes, go on.
Em dashed out, Joyce hurrying along behind. She could tell Mum was in a bad state because she didn't say, "Where's Sid?" or "I don't want to see you playing with that Molly Fox, she's common." Mum hadn't seen that Molly Fox had been hanging around them as usual, always trying to join in. And she was the one who had some chalk, so they had to let her play. Otherwise they'd have had to scrape out a grid with any old stone or an old bit of slate off a roof. Molly had most likely nicked the chalk from somewhere, Em thought. The whole family were known to be light-fingered. Mum also didn't know that Em's 6-year-old brother Sid was at this moment kicking a pig's bladder football with Molly's brother Bert, who was 9. If she'd known, she'd have been after him. Bert was a truly nasty piece of work. Mrs. Hibbert lived in a little cottage next to the timber yard.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?